have low vision, or have another print disability which makes reading, holding a book, or turning a page difficult or impossible. The content is copyrighted by the respective publishers. For more information, please visit us on the web at nfradioreading.org.
Hello, this is Marge Lauber, and for the next hour, I'll be reading from the January 30th issue of the Tribune Sentinel covering Niagara County and Grand Island on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. And there's an article called Winter Waterways, a roller coaster of alternating warm and cold periods by Frank Campbell. So the other day, I was asked about the lack of visiting anglers this winter. I had to assure the person it had nothing to do with the lack of promotions or any issues with the number of fish waiting to be caught, but it was just due to the clarity, or lack thereof, of the water itself. The lower Niagara River is truly unique, providing anglers with the opportunity to pursue multiple fish species throughout the winter months. Its strong, fast-moving currents prevent much of the river from freezing, maintaining open water conditions and allowing for productive fishing even during the coldest part of the year. Once Lake Erie develops a solid ice cover, the effects of wind are greatly reduced, and fishing conditions in the river often become exceptional, with limited boat traffic and reduced angler pressure over an extended period. The fish remain relatively undisturbed. During this time of year, the primary targeted species include steelhead, brown trout, lake trout, and to a lesser extent, walleye. However, this winter has been a roller coaster of alternating warm and cold periods, which has had a negative impact on overall river conditions. During certain parts of the winter, the Niagara River can become dirty and stained due to heavy wave action on Lake Erie. Thawing cycles and runoff further affect water, the clarity, sometimes causing conditions to change rapidly. Over the past 45 days, the water has remained constantly dirty or stained, resulting in very little angling activity in the lower Niagara River. When water clarity is poor, fishing becomes significantly more challenging, as reduced visibility makes it difficult for fish to see baits, often leading to slower bites and increased frustration for anglers. The difference between dirty water events in the cold months versus the warm months is drastic, as the colder water is denser, therefore the dirt particles stay suspended longer, as opposed to warm water, which allows the particles to fall back down to the bottom more quickly. Good news is on the horizon, as Lake Erie is now nearly completely frozen, so soon we will welcome the anglers back to the lower Niagara River. On the horizon is the Greater Niagara Fishing Expo, which allows anglers and anyone who has cabin fever the opportunity to engage themselves in the Great Lakes' finest educational opportunities. With over 250 seminar hours and all the latest and greatest fish-catching tools for the 2026 season, the dates are February 19th to the 22nd, and it will once again be hosted at the Niagara Falls Convention Center at Old Falls Street in downtown Niagara Falls. And in other news, Rose Chiropractic PC sponsors their 36th annual Doctor with a Heart Day. So on Saturday, February 14th, from 9 a.m. to noon, Dr. Glenda Rose and Dr. Thomas Barba of Rose Chiropractic PC in Lewiston will be sponsoring the 36th annual Doctors with a Heart Day for their patients. Non-perishable food items will be collected to benefit the Niagara Community Action Program Food Pantry in exchange for chiropractic services. The public is welcome to participate the week before and the week after the event, which is February 9 to the 20th, for a bag of non-perishable food. One will receive a chiropractic exam or nutrition response testing analysis to find out how they can improve their health naturally. A limited number of appointments are available, so public donations are welcome. So the Lewiston Town Board discussed flock cameras At the Lewiston Town Board meeting Monday evening, newly elected Councilman William Berg reported on a new request from the Niagara County Sheriff's Office for installation of additional vehicle monitoring block camera at Military and Hanover roads. NCSO has already received town approval to install 4 similar devices on town roadways. It indicated the units would be merely function for speed, traffic monitoring, and not record any vehicle or driver information. Lewiston Police Department Chief Michael Salata informed the board that NCSO initially requested up to 11 such units for installation in the town, but with the changing from state roads to town roads, they reduced it. Salata said NCSO requested the new location after initial placements were set. As the board moved to action on a resolution from Berg, Councilwoman Sarah Rochester said she wanted further explanation from the installation of the flock cameras, namely what type of information the cameras recorded. Just from doing some research into the flock organization itself, I have questions about the data that they collected and how they utilize that data, not on our police department, but on their end. As far as working with training, AI has also with different components as far as side door and back door issues of the information. Supervisor Steve Rockwick asked Building Code Enforcement Officer Tim Masters, "Didn't you talk to somebody about that?" "I talked to the flock company representative and asked them who has access to the data," Masters said. "They said Flock would have access and the Niagara County Sheriff would have access, but I didn't ask what Sarah is asking." So he continued, "According to the representative, they told me it was just Flock and Niagara County." Salata concurred with Masters' explanation and said he was in favor of the arrangement. "We have access today as a partner agency, and we can assess them. We can use them on several of our parole investigations by narrowing down cars. My understanding is Flock only has the access of data. As far as I know, Flock, we're not using the data outside of that. In terms of access, is our access and other partner state and local agencies. It is not shared with anything federally." Rochester responded and said, "That's why I don't have any problems with the information being used internally as far as with our police department and as far as criminal investigation for those matters. However, as you take a deeper dive into what Flock is about, from what they are reading, and I'll give you a general scenario, is that I think you take information as far as me, drive it around to the places that I frequent. They can analyze the data through an AI model, and then they can determine where I'm going, to the doctor, where I may do my grocery shopping, which addresses I frequent to." She went on to convey her reservations on approving the camera. "I really have hoped to be able to speak with that representative prior to any vote on the matter," Rochester said. "I don't know if people are familiar with the Flock organization," she said. "I'm just worried as far as the data capture and the violation of individual privacy here in Lewiston." So town board members will go on to approve the camera by a 3-to-1 measure, and Rochester cast a lone vote, no vote, in opposition. Councilman John Myers was absent. In other news, the board voted to lower the speed limit on Langdon Road from 55 miles an hour to 40 miles per hour. Broderick said he received a petition from area residents requesting the change. "I think pretty much we had every neighborhood sign a petition to have it reduced. So here's a situation where the neighbors all got together, reached out, and it was successful," he said. The board approved a tentative agreement for collective bargaining with Teamsters Local 264 at the town's wastewater treatment plant. And then the town announced AARP tax preparation services will again be offered at the Lewiston Senior Center beginning Friday, February 13th. The town has announced a meeting of new comprehensive plan committee for Thursday, February 26th at the Senior Center. Here we go. So we have some hot tips for cold weather heart health. American Heart Association offers information for staying heart healthy in cold temperatures. While grocery store shelves may be empty, firewood piles filled, and phone charges charged, cell phone charge, there may be a few more items to check off on your prep list during winter storms, along with the many other hazards of cold weather. It can pose some unique concerns when it comes to heart health. The American Heart Association offers some important information for staying heart healthy when temperatures drop. They said, know the cold weather health dangers. The cold causes blood vessels to contract and coronary arteries to constrict, which can raise blood pressure, increasing the risk of heart attack, stroke, or even cardiac arrest. Strenuous activities can add stress to the heart that people aren't normally used to. Our hearts also have to work extra hard in cold weather to keep a healthy body temperature. Hypothermia occurs when your body can't produce enough energy to keep the internal body temperature warm enough. It can kill you. Symptoms include lack of coordination, mental confusion, slowed reactions, shivering, and sleeplessness. People with heart disease often suffer angina pectoris, which is chest pain or discomfort, when they're in cold weather. Cold weather is also associated with cold and flu season, but be careful about the cold medicines you take, especially if you have high blood pressure. It's best to check with your healthcare physician, professionals, or pharmacist before taking any over-the-counter medications, supplements, or substances. So you want to take precautions to stay heart healthy. Your mom was right, bundle up. If you go out, wear layers to avoid hypothermia and frostbite. Layering clothes traps air between the layers, forming protective insulation. Also wear a hat or headscarf. Heat can be lost through your head, and ears are especially prone to frostbite. Keep your hands and feet warm, too, as they tend to lose heat rapidly. But don't overdo it. Walking through heavy snow or climbing up the sledding hill isn't a walk in the park. Your body's always using extra energy to stay warm, so go slow, take breaks, and don't exert yourself. You want to shovel safely. If you have to clear out the sidewalks and driveway, start gradually and pace yourself. Ideally, push or sweep the snow rather than lift and throw it. That action involves a little less exertion. Pay attention to your body, and if something doesn't feel right, stop. You want to stay hydrated. Just because it's cold and you may not feel thirsty, but thirst isn't the best indicator that you need to drink. Even if you aren't sweating as much as you need to, you still need to hydrate. Watch out for the added calories in cold weather drinks. Comforting drinks like pumpkin spice lattes and hot chocolate can be loaded with unwanted sugar and fat. You want to limit the alcohol. Alcohol may increase a person's sensation of warmth and may cause them to underestimate the extra strain their body is under in the cold. You want to check on loved ones. Elderly people may also have lower subcutaneous fat and a diminished ability to sense temperature, so they can suffer hypothermia without knowing they're in danger. You also want to learn the heart attack warning signs and listen to your body. Even if you're not sure it's a heart attack, have it checked out. Minutes matter. Fast action can save lives, maybe your own, and don't wait to call 911. Learn CPR. EMS response times can be lower in bad weather. More than 350,000 cardiac arrests happen outside the hospital each year. Hands-only CPR can double or triple a person's chance of survival. Save a life in 2 steps. Call 911, push hard and fast in the center of the chest. Learn more about cold weather and cardiovascular disease at heart.org. Next, there's a UB physician advised how to stay safe during a deep freeze, which we've been having. You are listening to a reading of articles and features from the Tribune Sentinel covering Niagara County and Grand Island on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. So the UB physician advised how to stay safe during deep freeze. The prolonged Arctic cold front that has settled over much of the nation, including western New York, can pose serious risks to people exposed to it. especially those with certain health conditions, says a University of Buffalo physician. David M. Holmes, MD, Clinical Associate Professor of Family Medicine and the Jacobs School of Medicine and Biomedical Sciences at UB, is an expert in wilderness medicine. As Director of Global Health Education and the Jacobs School, he leads students and professionals on medical missions to remote areas throughout the globe. A physician with UBMD Primary Care, he is also associated with Medical Chief of ECMC Family Medicine. He answers questions about how to stay safe in frigid weather. So here's a question. What are the most severe risks that can come from exposure to extreme cold? And he said anyone who is outside in frigid temperatures for more than about 15 to 30 minutes is at high risk by developing hypothermia, where the body loses heat faster than it can produce it, and frostbite, where the water inside our skin cells can freeze, potentially resulting in permanent tissue damage. Frostbite can be limb-threatening, and hypothermia can be life-threatening. Therefore, it's important to prevent this by limiting outdoor exposure in sub-freezing temperatures and covering all parts of the body with warm layers. Wool socks and wool gloves or mittens are especially important, as wool insulates very well, even when wet, unlike cotton and other fabrics. Being cold causes blood vessels to constrict to conserve body heat, causing an increase in blood pressure and heart rate. This in turn forces your heart to work hard to pump your blood against higher resistance due to the narrower blood vessels. This is why cold weather increases the risk of heart attacks, especially with exertion like shoveling snow. You should definitely not be out for more than a few minutes in the extreme cold temperatures expected this week. Older adults who are 70 years old, infants and young children, anyone with significant heart or lung diseases such as heart failure, coronary artery disease, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, that's COPD, and asthma. The cold air causes the airways in the lungs to constrict, which makes it harder to breathe. It can cause exacerbations of COPD or asthma. Anyone with confusion or decreased cognitive, such as dementia, delirium, developmental delays, etc., in an attempt to maintain core temperatures, a body that is freezing may divert energy and blood flow away from the brain. This slows down the conduction of neurons through the nervous system, reducing cognitive function, decreasing memory, and increasing confusion. This may cause people to make harmful decisions when outside in cold weather, such as taking jackets off and wandering around rather than seeking shelter. Because of reduced memory, these people are at risk of easily getting lost outside and unable to find their way home. It's important to understand that even someone with normal baseline cognitive function can become confused when it's very cold. Another question, how long can you safely be outside in this kind of weather? And the answer is, this depends on how cold it is, what the wind chill factor is, and how warmly dressed you are. In general, though, it's a temperature with wind chill factor is 0 degrees Fahrenheit, the time outside should be less than 15 to 30 minutes maximum. If the temperature with a wind chill is minus 20 degrees Fahrenheit or colder, then time outside should be no longer than 5 to 10 minutes. Next question. The storm has dumped a foot of snow or more throughout our region, and the cold has persisted. What precautions should be taken if you have to shovel in extreme cold? He answers with dress in layers, covering all skin, including your face, in order to prevent frostbite. Push the snow, don't lift it. If the snow has to be lifted periodically, then lift small amounts at a time. You want to minimize exertion as much as possible to decrease the risk of heart attacks and other problems. You should take frequent breaks as needed and drink lots of fluids before and after shoveling, and avoid smoking. Another question, should parents allow their kids to play outside? Well, young kids can get cold and hypothermia much easier than adolescents and adults. Therefore, kids should dress extra warmly in layers and minimize their time outside to less than 30 minutes. If the temperature with wind chill factor is below 0 degrees, Then kids should not be playing outside. Another question: in such weather, what equipment should we all have in our cars? Well, obviously, it's best to stay inside as much as possible and not drive during snowstorms and some freezing temperatures. However, they may not be possible due to the need to get to work and buy groceries. Therefore, be prepared for dangerous cold weather scenarios by including the following items in your car. You want good quality snow brush or ice scraper, blankets, extra mittens, hat, scarf, a shovel with a metal blade, not plastic, to shovel snow and break up ice if you need it, a flashlight to help save your cell phone battery, jumper cables and battery jump starter, sand or kitty litter for traction, and a small shovel. A gas tank that is close to full, and make sure electrical vehicles are close to full charge at all times during snowstorm warnings and some freezing temperatures. You want a first aid kit and a fully charged phone and portable power bank to recharge your cell phone if you need it, and of course you need snacks and water. And here's some other news that we have today. The Undy Sunday collection is ongoing. With the cold of winter upon us, the Rotary Club of Grand Island will host its annual Uncle Sunday collection between January 24th and February 8th. For 25 years, the Rotary Club has sponsored the collection of new and used clothing, underclothing, and socks. This year, there is a particular need for warm socks, t-shirts, underwear, and leggings for men, women, and children. The donated items will be distributed to the community missions, the Homeless Coalition of Tonawanda, Lighthouse Ministries of Niagara Falls, and Niagara Gospel Mission. Look for the distinctive red hampers or cans at these locations around Grand Island to deposit your donations. They're going to be at Bible Fellowship at 1136 Baseline Road, Bible Presbyterian Church at 1650 Love Road, St. Martin's in the Field Episcopal Church at 2587 Baseline Road, St. Stephen's Roman Catholic Church at 2100 Baseline Road, St. Timothy Evangelical at 1453 Staley Road, Trinity Methodist Church at 2100 Whitehaven, Veronica Connor Middle School, 1100 Ransom Road, Grand Island High School, 1100 Ransom Road, St. Stephen's School and Church at 2100 Baseline Road, the Dollar General at 1853 Love Road, Equestrian Eats at 1752 Grand Island Boulevard, the Grand Island Library at 1715 Bedell Road, Huron Point at 1993 Grand Island Boulevard, and that's just a few of them. M&T also at 2381 Grand Island Boulevard. If you want information, you can contact Louise Olmsted at 919-274-0025. So the New York Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation announced it will issue seasonal dock permits along the West River Shoreline Trail on a first-come, first-served basis for the 2026 season. Permit applications will be distributed at 9 a.m. Saturday, March 7th in the main parking lot, number 1, inside Beaver Island State Park on Grand Island. A vehicle quelling lane will be established when the park opens at dawn at 9 a.m. A parks representative will arrive to hand out information packets. Participants are asked to remain in line and in their vehicles for safety and convenience. After the lottery concludes, remaining interested parties are welcome to stop by the office during the week or call anytime. All inquiries and messages will be handled in order, and a wait list will be started if all permits are used. And the Grand Island Memorial Library this week at 1715 Bedell Road. The library hours are 9:30 to 8. The Itsy Bitsy Story Time with Miss Stephanie is from 10 to 10:30 in the morning, Thursdays. They start January 29th through February 19th for ages infant to 2 with a caregiver. Join Miss Stephanie for stories and music. Registration is required and has begun. You can call 716-733-7124. Then there's an adult craft night, gnome paintings and workshop from 6:30 to 7:30 on Thursday, January 29th. That was already passed, so we'll skip that one. There is a Lego Club from 1 to 2 p.m. on Saturday, February 7th, March 7th, and April 4th and May 2nd for ages 4 to 12. They can stop by the library each month for a Lego free build. All Legos are provided, just bring your imagination. There's a pre-story time with Miss Stephanie at 10 to 10:30, starting February 10th and 17th for ages 2 to 5, with parent or caregivers. Grand Island Memorial Library Book Club at 2026 evenings at 6 p.m. on Tuesday, February 10th and March 10th. The club meets on the second Tuesday of each month, featuring books for February. The featured book for February is James by Percival Everett. The featured book for March is The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. All are welcome. Physical copies of the books will be available to borrow. If you want to read for a dog from 1 to 3 p.m. on Saturdays, there's another one. February 14th and March 14th, April 11th and May 9th. Open to all ages. Visitors are welcome to select a book and practice reading out loud to a good listener at the Grand Island Memorial Library. All our furry friends are therapy dogs, certified through the SPCA's Paws for Love program. Sign up for your personal 20-minute reading session. Registration is required. You can call 716-773-7124, or you can stop by. At Gabby's Dollhouse Treat Workshop, 1 to 2 p.m. on Saturday, February 21st, for ages 4 to 8 with caregiver. Join the Storybook Cook to create your very own cute and delicious kitty-themed treats. There's an adult craft night. And they're doing Bookish Roses with Marnie from 6:30 to 7:30 on Wednesday, February 25th. You can join the host, Marnie Klein, for another fun adult ages 18 plus craft program and learn how to create study paper roses from book pages. All supplies will be provided. In other news, the Grand Island Cultural Center surprised by unexpected donation. So Karen DeGlopper, treasurer of the Buffalo Launch Club Mates, said the old St. Stephen Roman Catholic Church building holds special significance. I was baptized in here, so it has a lot of personal meaning to me that we were able to raise funds for this church, she said. I was always afraid that they would let it go or tear it down, and I hated seeing that happen. So I'm excited, and they're getting it back into shape again. On December 18th, the Buffalo Launch Club Mates donated $1,330 to the Grand Island Cultural Center, located in the former St. Stephen Church. We raised the money with an event, which was a Las Vegas night at the Launch Club. It was an event for the members, and we opened it up to the public also. It's a yearly event for fundraising, said Josephine Siffa, president of the Buffalo Launch Club Mates. The event was fabulous. The Las Vegas night event, which featured a Bill's Mafia theme, was held September 20th, and it featured casino-style gambling, food, a cash bar, and basket raffle. The objective of the Buffalo Launch Club Mates, Sophia said, is to promote and establish sociability among the women members of the Buffalo Launch Club. Frank Burkhart, secretary of the Grand Island Cultural Center, said the donation was completely unexpected. We were out here working on the stairs, and Josephine and her husband Vinny stopped by. Burkhart said, I don't know who he was. He told me who he was, and I said, oh yeah, I know your wife. Well, we were at your Rockin' the Grounds event. We saw that you guys did downstairs, Burkhart said. And Vinny said, we're running this event. We'd like to make you guys be the beneficiary of it. That caught us by surprise. We were thrilled, just for perceptive that the goal of the Cultural Center is bringing together different groups on Grand Island and bring together a sense of community. A large part of that is giving. That's what the Launch Club is doing. That's what we're doing. We're trying to give back to the community and make this building a place where the community can gather for all sorts of things. It's great to have somebody step forward unsolicited from the community to do that. Burkhart also talked about the musical Joseph and Mary by Jerry Cahill and Jim Ensign, which was recently presented at the Grand Island Cultural Center. The retelling of the Christmas story was produced by the Parish Players and Belzile Entertainment. Burkhart noted the play was the first event offered at the Grand Island Cultural Center, which is still undergoing renovation. That was wonderful, he said. It was a perfect play to put on at Christmas as the inaugural event. The inside of the building, the downstairs, as you know, have been completely renovated. Funds from the Buffalo Lunch Club donation, as well as funds from Joseph and Mary, will go to renovating the inside of what used to be the church, the sanctuary. So our next goal is to get that renovated, Burkhardt said. Funds from Joseph and Mary will also be donated to the Neighborhood Foundation. Articles and features from the Tribune Sentinel covering Niagara County and Grand Island on the Niagara Frontier Reader Reading Service. So there's some Erie County Sheriff's Office reporting. So the following Grand Island response activity occurred Thursday, January 15th to Wednesday, January 21st. So on the 15th, on the East River Road, there was a fraud. A victim reported receiving an email about a computer virus and clicking the link in the email, which prompted the victim to call a number posing as her bank. The victim spoke with a fake representative and was told they needed to open a new account due to fraud on the old account. The victim purchased 14 gift cards valued at $7,000 and provided the representative with all the barcodes. Case was referred to the ECSO Detective Bureau for further investigation. So if anybody asks you if you want to do something for gift cards, it's not a good idea, I guess. On Friday, January 16th, Grand Island Boulevard, accident, property damage only. Deputies responded to a two-car property damage only accident. Minor damage sustained to both vehicles and no injuries reported. New York Driver Exchange report completed. On Saturday, January 17th at Whitehaven Road, there's the assistant person. The complaint was reunited with her wallet that was found the day prior and turned over to deputies. On Sunday, January 18th, Baseline Road, there was a suspicious person. Complainant reports a vehicle driving around on their property, and the vehicle had left prior to the patrols arriving. Increased patrol of the area. So Monday on the 19th, at East River Road, snow removal. The complainant removed a snowplow driver. Complained that a snowplow driver pushed snow into her driveway, and the complainant's car became stuck in the snow. Deputies assisted the complainant by freeing her vehicle. And then on Tuesday, January 20th, the Grand Island Boulevard vehicle was off the roadway, so a vehicle slid into a ditch while attempting to turn into a parking lot. Deputies assisted with the winched out. And next article, the Niagara County Niagara County Clerk announces DMV closure schedule. So Niagara County Clerk Joseph A. Jastrzynski announced the planned closures and scheduled changes of the county's 3 Department of Motor Vehicle offices in February as the New York State DMV begins a large-scale system upgrade next month to modernize its technology, platforms, and driver delivery. The upgrades impact every DMV across the state. This has been a long-planned upgrade from the state that will vastly improve our ability to serve our residents, but the scope necessitates we close our offices for a few days in February, Jastrzynski said. We encourage people to plan accordingly and make appointments in advance to get your business done. Jastrzynski said the DMV offices in Lockport, Niagara Falls, and North Tonawanda will be closed from noon February 13th through Tuesday, February 17th, which includes the President's Day holiday. The offices will reopen to appointment only from Wednesday, February 18th through Friday, February 20th. Beginning Monday, February 23rd, the offices will return to their regular business. And during the closure, the state DMV will migrate about 30 million records to the new system and complete the transition to bring the first phase of the upgrade online. Again, no DMV transactions will be able to be completed during this period, including through the state DMV website, and no one will be available to answer phones. Wow. And then again, another article, Niagara USA Chamber of Commerce unveils the 2026 advocacy agenda. Oh my goodness. The Niagara USA Chamber of Commerce officially unveiled its 2026 advocacy agenda last Thursday, outlining a set of guiding principles that will shape the Chamber's efforts at the local, state, and federal levels in the year ahead. Developed with direct input from the regional business community, the 2026 agenda centers on policies that support economic growth, affordability, infrastructure, investment, workforce development, and a competitive business climate throughout Niagara County. Unlike traditional legislature with lists, the Chamber structured the agenda around core principles designed to provide clarity and consistency as policymakers respond to rapidly evolving economic and regulatory conditions. Policy today moves fast, said Craig Turner, interim executive director for the Niagara USA Chamber of Commerce. New proposals, executive actions, and regulatory changes can emerge quickly, and businesses need to know where their chamber stands. By grounding our advocacy in clear principles, our board has established a framework that allows us to evaluate issues and consistently respond thoughtfully, even though the specifics are moving targets. Turner emphasized that the principles-based approach ensures the Chamber can engage constructively on individual pieces of legislation while remaining in line with the long-term needs for the business community. And then on our next, we have some entertainment here. Guess who's back? Burton Cummings on the Guess Who reclaiming band name concert stages. So, Randy Bachman and Burton Cummings are reunited to tour behind the songs that took them to #1 in North America. The songs are These Eyes, No Time, Laughing, Undone, No Sugar Tonight, New Mother Nature, and American Woman. Moreover, the Canadian hitmakers are reclaiming the name they made famous, the Guess Who. Following a fight for the band name, which was being used by bassist Jim Cale and drummer Gary Peterson, guitarist, vocalist Bachman, and vocalist keyboard player Cummings, have set out to repay the fans they consider were duped by another group of musicians. Of the Guess Who, Cummings said they were using the songs as bait. They were using our real records to draw people to their fake shows. He added, "It's a long, ugly legal battle, and it's over with. And Randy and I are very happy that the confusion's over. There won't be any more fake Guess Who bands out there." So the Guess Who is set to tour across Canada this summer for the first time in more than 20 years. Before that, they will perform at 8 p.m. Saturday inside the OLG stage at Falls View Casino. In an interview last week, Cummings said the Cellist will definitely feature the Guess Who's hit songs. It will possibly include selections for Bachman Turner Overdrive, perhaps the Taking Care of Business, Let It Ride, or You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet. In Cummings' own solo career, maybe a Stand Tall, I'm Scared, My Own Way to Rock, Break It to Them Gently, or You Save My Soul. He said the tour is reflective of fans' continued love for the Guess Who songs made famous in the late 60s and 70s. "I think the thing that makes me the proudest is that the songs have never gone away," he said. "These Eyes is way over 50 years old now, and I can still hear it on the radio. I'm very, very proud of that. I think there's something that a lot of performers don't get, that's longevity." Cummings shared more in the edited question and answers. So the question... So we are #1 for the reclaimed rename, the Guess Who. How is it that we're so fortunate that we get to be the first tour stop? Burton Cummings said, "Well, it just worked out that way. They wanted us back at Niagara Falls, and that's a tremendous venue. I just love that venue. We didn't want to do it in Winnipeg because that would be just too much over the top. That's where it all started for Randy and me. So when Niagara Falls came up and the date was properly timed, we just jumped at the chance. Okay, let's do this. We've had several days of rehearsal already, and we're going to rehearse for 2 or 3 more days before the actual show. The band is pretty tight right now, and it's a rockin' band. In the old days, there was just Randy. When it was a 4-piece Guess Who, it was just Randy. Now we have Randy leading the guitar army. We have 3 lead guitar players, and it's never been this powerful. The Guess Who in the old days was never this powerful, so it's very exciting. Randy's excited too, and the whole band. It's a great unit, and we're rocking right now. It's just great." News: they're still favorites for a reason. Lewiston Eatery takes the top pizza and wings title in reader vote. NFP's annual football road food contest is a lot of competition, from watching, cheering, and attending games to special days and holidays, Halloween through New Year's, and all the planning those events demand, to winter weather prep and attempts to visit the gym. When considering these things, and the fact Favorites Pizza and Wings was a winner 2 years in a row, one might think its patrons would be less motivated to take time and vote for the Lewiston restaurant. One would be wrong. In fact, fans doubled down this time around voting Favorites Western New York's best pizza and Western New York's best wings. We're so grateful and appreciative, and we love our customers. They're the best, said Kate Swanson of Lewiston, a 16-year-old employee. It just shows you how much determination that our crew has here, and how much we really care about our food, our quality, and our customers, said Austin Regis of Youngstown, who's a 12-year employee. It shows us that the customer appreciates what we do, that it's like a family to them too, and when they come in here, they feel like they're part of the family. Swanson and Regis distributed favorite pizzas in Niagara Falls style. It rises in a pan. It's not paper thin like New York style. It has more air in the crust. It's fresh. The dough is fresh every day, he said. It's our honesty, he said. I think that's why people enjoy it so much, too. Because it's not too thick and it's not too thin. A lot of people come in here and they say, our pizzas, they love how thick it is in our crust. It's not thick, it's just puffy. If that makes sense, it's like a puffy pillow. We just added, I know we use top quality products and we don't cheap out on our products. So it might be a little bit pricey or a little less profit margin, but we use very good ingredients all the time. If we run out of a product, we don't just get a different product. Like says, if we're out of French fries, we'll just tell the customer we're out of before we even get to a different French fry or a different pepperoni. Something Favorites is famous for is its pizza slices. At any given time, customers can walk in and grab a slice from a selection of around 10 or so specialty pies, or choose from 1 to 3 classic, like cheese and pepperoni, and old-fashioned. It's whatever they want, Swanson said of the choice. The customer kind of determines what goes in there at the time. And then also Western New York's best wings, favorite chicken wings. They're always fresh, Swanson said. They never, ever frozen, Regis said, and we use jumbo wings. There's everyday specialists, and then we have a lot of sauces too, he said. And we're always open to new sauces and trying new things and putting new sauces in the mix. Swanson said people like to mix them together. We'll always try something. There's never too many sauces. Sweet and spicy and butter garlic parmesan are among the top wing flavors right now. The favorite, sweet and spicy, that became pretty popular, Regis said. And the butter garlic parmesan is insane. All of a sudden, people started ordering it like that. Then it went on the menu. Then everybody gets some butter garlic parm, like no matter what. It's crazy. Okay, then we have Let's Go Back Dispatch. So 60 years ago, on January 27th, 1966, construction of a $2 million motor hotel, numerous apartments, a department store complex, and the development of a 65-acre area on Grand Island are included in a 10-year master plan revealed this week by Lawrence A. Grant, president of Mid-Island Properties Incorporated. The motor hotel, planned for completion in 1968, will be located on a 14.5-acre plot off of Whitehaven Road at the New York State Thruway overpass. Names of proposed surrounding roadways will be Humpty Dumpty Drive, Peter Pan Parkway, and Cinderella Lane. Planned for a year-round operation, the resort hotel will have 200 rooms, dining rooms, lounges, a sun deck, and a patio around a swimming pool, and windows to permit enclosure or open-air swimming. Long-range planning includes a department store complex on 24.1 acres, having 713-foot frontage on Grand Island Boulevard, north of the Shell service station, and having as other boundaries proposed as Fantasy Lane, Wishing Well Way, and Peter Pan Parkway. It is scheduled for development when the town reaches the 15,000 mark, Mr. Grant said. So then 50 years ago, on January 28, 1976, the Bicentennial Parade set for the 4th of July. Grand Island's Bicentennial Parade will be held July 4th, and that's a change in date and time from those originally announced for what promises to be the biggest and best parade ever to march down Grand Island Boulevard. As a meeting of the Independent Day Parade Committee on Saturday in the Town Hall, Edward Craig, professional parade manager in charge of many aspects of the year's event, explained prizes to be offered for Junior Drum Corps no doubt will attract as many as 50 units. He predicted they will come from as far away as Pennsylvania and Ohio. There will be competition for bands, color guards, majorettes, and drill teams, with New York Penn judges deciding the winners of awards as high as $500 for top honors. The line of march will again form at Grand Island Boulevard and Staley Road. Other details will be resolved at future meetings. And then just 10 years ago, on January 29, 2016, Assistant Superintendent for Finance Robert McDowell said that the Grand Island Board of Education that increases in state aid doesn't mean a spending spree is likely. McDowell briefed the Grand Island Board of Education Monday on the state budget aid and said during his finance discussion that the school district can anticipate aid from the state to make up some health and gap elimination adjustments in recent years during the recent budgetary crisis. The gap elimination adjusted is money reduced from the school district state and to help the state reduce its budget deficit. That doesn't mean they can go on spending a spending spree, McDowell cautioned. And then there's a basketball free throw competition by the Knights of Columbus. They already was, I'm sorry. Okay, the NCDOH announced a new session of Happy Talk Song and Sign, a new public health building. The Niagara County Department of Health, Children with Special Needs Division is pleased to announce an upcoming session of Happy Talk Song and Sign. This free community-based parent-child group is designed to support early communication and language development in young children through songs, simple signs, and evidence-based play. The 7-week session will take place from 9:30 to 10:30 a.m. on Tuesday, February 10th through March 24th at 55 Stevens Street in Lockport. The program is free, but registration is required. Happy Talk Song and Sign is led by Courtney Gerstung, a speech-language pathologist with the Niagara County Department of Health, under a curriculum created by Christian Page Noon, who's also the founder of Happy Talk Song and Sign LLC. The program teaches caregivers how to incorporate simple signs and gestures to everyday routines to reduce frustration and boost early literacy. The response to our initial sessions was overwhelmingly positive, said Janet Janoshek, early intervention official and director of children with specific needs. Seeing the success of the first group confirmed that the families are looking for these proactive, supportive opportunities. Happy Talk doesn't just give parents practical tools, it creates a welcoming community where children can hear and learn and connect. The move to the new Stevens Center location allows the NCDOH to better accommodate the growing interest in these services. We are thrilled to host Happy Talk Song and Sign in our new Public Health Administration building, Public Health Director Fuzia Khan said. The space significantly increases our ability to serve the public, expand programming, and create more opportunities for families to access high-quality preventive supports in a centralized, welcoming location. Happy Talk Song and Sign is free and open to the community, but registration is required. And families can register online at https://nchattytalkfeb2026 evanbright.com. And here's some real help for your health. So, Dr. Rose, who's a chiropractor, Glenda Rose, she said since 1964, February has been designated as American Heart Month by the American Heart Association. The importance of heart health cannot be stressed enough. People realize that the heart is necessary to sustain life, but few realize that much of their heart's health is largely in their hands. So, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, 3 of the top risk factors for heart disease are high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and smoking. Others include being diagnosed with diabetes, being overweight, and drinking to excess. Some of these risk factors have an underlying caustic factor: diet. A heart sound recorder, a general wellness cardiac stress monitor, can be used to evaluate for nutritional counseling, supplement and exercise conditions to support the normal physiological processes of the body. This device is not an electrocardiograph like those used in hospitals or by physicians, and that is not capable of diagnosing heart conditions, nor in any way a substitute for such a device. Chiropractic may be used as a complementary care to improve health of heart that is not available anywhere else. Chiropractors reduce spinal nerve stress through spinal adjustments affecting a part of the nervous system, controls heart rate, blood pressure, blood supply to the various parts of the body, including the involuntary muscles of the heart. Healthy Hearts Special during the month of February receives a heart sound recorder evaluation in exchange for a bag of non-perishable food during our 36th annual Doctors with a Heart event, which is February 9th to February 20th. Rose Chiropractic PC is located at 435 Ridge Road in Lewiston. And it's going to be, I think next weekend is Valentine's Day, next Saturday. So we've got some stuff here at Kelly's Country Store. They have everything you need. They have personalized chocolate hearts, chocolate-covered strawberries, chocolate-filled hearts, and their Easter rooms are now open. Wow. At the Cherie Amour, which is at 522 Center Street in Lewiston. They also have a lot of things. It's a season. They have charm bar necklace. It's new. They have blessing bracelets. Niagara River Rock and more. And then at 900 Center Street in Lewiston, it says, put a little love on your walls. They're different frames. It's Sue's Frame of Mind. And then we have Valentine's Day special section. Happy Valentine's Day. So Feed and Wear Western New York calls on the community to spread the love. Throughout the month of February, Feed and Wear Western New York is calling on its community partners to spread the love by donating unopened jars of peanut butter to support our neighbors experiencing food insecurity. Peanut butter is one of the most requested items by Feed More Western New York partner pantries, as well as a staple menu item of Feed More Western New York's backpack program serving children in need. That is why Feed More Western New York will once again run a Spread the Love peanut butter drive throughout the entire month with the goal of collecting 5,000 pounds of peanut butter. Community members may drop off donations at Feed More Western New York's warehouse located at 91 Holt Street in Buffalo from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. weekdays and from 8 a.m. to noon Saturdays. Donations of peanut butter and food items may also be shipped directly to Feed More Western New York through Instacart's Community Carts program. In addition to individual donations, Feed More Western New York is calling on schools, corporations, and community groups to get involved in the effort. Anyone looking to organize the peanut butter drive for Feed More Western New York is encouraged to contact Community Engagement and Events Specialist Betsy Campbell at bcampbellbell at feedmorewesternNewYork.org, or you can call 716-822-2005, extension 3090. The reason we call attention to our need for peanut butter and hold the Spread the Love drive year after year is because peanut butter is an incredible value food donation. It is packed with protein, shelf-stable, and widely enjoyed by community members of all ages, Campbell said. Feed More Western New York also welcomes donation of alternatives to peanut butter for those with food allergies or different preferences, including other nut butters. sunflower butter, and soy butter. We appreciate all varieties, ice, creamy, crunchy, peanut butter, and jelly combinations, and peanut-free spreads. All these donations add up to make a big difference in supporting our food insecure neighbors across our 4-county service area, Campbell said. More information about Spread the Love, including a link to donate via Instacart communities, can be found at www.feedmorewesternnewyork.org/spreadthelove. And do you know the Village Diner on Main Street, 425 Main Street in Youngstown? Well, they're closed on Mondays, but on Tuesday, they're open, I guess, every day from 6 to 2, and on Saturday and Sunday, they're open at 6 a.m. So on Tuesday, they have spaghetti and meatballs, chicken parm, eggplant parm, and spaghetti parm. Then on Wednesday, they have chicken Milanese or fish, battered, breaded, baked, or haddock. And then Thursday, they have chopped sirloin with sauteed mushroom and onions and mashed potatoes, or fish. On Friday, they have haddock, fish sandwiches, tuna melts, and New England clam chowder. Then Saturday and Sunday, they're open at 6 a.m. They have eggs Benedict, banana walnut pancakes, spinach and feta omelet, and our full breakfast and lunch menu. Oh, that looks really good. And did you know that at the Lutheran Church of the Messiah, Pastor Timothy Annis at 915 Olmeda Street in Lewiston, they're going to be doing, it's the Lutheran Church of the Messiah. They have worship at 8:15 a.m. with a guitar, 9 a.m. Sunday school, 10 a.m. organ, and live stream. They have a live stream website also. And then there's a Wagner's Grill. You know where that is? They have homemade soups and chilies. And Friday, they have a fish fry. They're open to 8 o'clock. It's at 2672 Lockwood Road in Sanborn. Well, they have delicious and hot, freshly cooked to order. They have homemade soups and chili, beef on wok, charbroiled hamburgers, hot dogs, sausage, gyros, wraps, hot and cold subs, chicken fingers, grilled chicken sandwiches, curly fries, onion rings, fresh salads, and more. And it sounds delicious. It's making me hungry. And if you're a senior citizen, they have Niagara County Office for the Aging menu from February 2nd to February 6th. On Monday on the 2nd, this is their Eat Well, Stay Well dining. They have turkey and cheese sub with lettuce and tomato, onion, chicken, cannelloni soup with crackers, fresh spinach salad, wheat, hoagie roll, and cinnamon applesauce. Then on Tuesday, which is the 3rd, that's too late. Already went past all that. Today is Thursday the 5th. They have sweet and sour pork with fortune cookie, seasoned brown rice, stir-fry vegetable blend, and wheat dinner, roll, and cookie. Then on Friday, which is tomorrow, they have chicken salad with lettuce, tomato, onion on a croissant, Italian pasta salad, and seasoned peas and mandarin oranges. Sounds pretty good. So SPCA pet of the month is Marlin. Marlin's a 7-year-old large male. He's brown and white, Belgian Malonus mix. If you are interested, please give us a call. And he is the cutest thing. He's at 2100 Lockport Road in Niagara Falls. Looks almost like a German Shepherd, but doesn't have the markings of a German Shepherd. Of course, the picture's kind of grainy. But his ears are up. He's looking for a home. To a reading of articles and features from the current issue, which is the January 30th issue of the Tribune Sentinel covering Niagara County and Grand Island. We read from the Tribune Sentinel every Saturday at 4 p.m. Your reader's Marge Lauber, and I thank you for listening, and everybody have a great day.
Coming up next in the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, we have the Lockport Union Sun and Journal. At 6 o'clock, we got the Wall Street Journal Off Duty, and at 7 o'clock, we got Harper's Magazine. Stay with us for these readings and more. If you or people you know shop at any of the Dash's supermarkets, please save Dash's register tapes for radio reading. Our agency receives $2 for every $100 in Dash's register tapes. Radio reading has raised thousands of dollars so far. Anyone can drop off their Dash's tapes to the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service at 1199 Harlem Road, Cheektowaga, between William and Clinton Streets. Or Dash's tapes can be mailed to the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service at 1199 Harlem Road, Cheektowaga, New York, 14227. Any questions on Dash's tapes for radio reading? The following program is intended for listeners who are blind, have low vision,